Good Monday morning. Glad you're up with us here on 13 Sunrise. Hope your weekend was good to you. Welcome back, Julia. Glad to have you here with us.
Thank you.
Are you awake yet?
I am awake, absolutely.
Atta girl.
When you start talking about sunny and
She perked right up.
60s around here, that's right. I'm like, I don't want to miss this. So glad you're with us here at 6 o'clock on your Monday, getting it started, and really, hopefully, a lot of people looking forward to it.
Yeah, if this is one of those days and you work in a job where you can get home early, if you roll in early, do it, because 4 o'clock, we're going to be at 64 degrees here, which is weird. That's 3 degrees shy of the all-time record for this day in February in Indianapolis. So that's pretty good. In fact, we're already off to a very good start right now in both Indianapolis and Carmel. We're at or above the average high for this time of year. And we're going to see some sunshine a little bit later on today. When you went to bed last night, if you were watching Matt, he was talking about this dense fog advisory for much of the northeast part of Indiana. That has been allowed to expire with the exception of that area around Angola at Trine University. But you go to the north, folks, it is a completely different story. While we're going to be in the 60s, much of Michigan will be under winter weather advisories. In fact, that line stretches about 1,400 miles all the way into northern Utah. So let's enjoy this mild weather while we've got it. 43 here, but in our southern counties, it is already much warmer. In fact, 48 in Crawfordsville, or Greencastle, 48 also in Shelbyville, 39 in Lafayette, 46 in Bedford. So in Indy now, we are 10 degrees warmer than we were at this time yesterday. Just like yesterday, it's going to be windy. In fact, later on this morning, that wind gust will propel us, if you go between 8 o'clock and 12 o'clock, 10 degrees up to 57. I wouldn't be surprised to see a 30-mile-per-hour plus wind later on this afternoon, and we'll get up to 64 later today. A warmer, lovely day today. Back to reality, Lindsay, by Wednesday, so enjoy it. And I guess it's back to reality on Monday morning. Sometimes we have these problems.
That's right. Yeah, we've had this problem since about 3 o'clock this morning. So now we're entering into hour 3 of the cleanup process of a crash here on the east side of town. This is 465 in the southbound lanes at US 40. So we do have that right lane, the shoulder that is also blocked. You can see the NDOT crews out there merging traffic down. Looks like we still have at least 2 travel lanes open along this stretch. But as we get closer to that peak morning rush hour, this is going to be when we see more brake lights and that backup continuing to build. So we will continue to monitor that stretch of 465 as we are seeing some delays building just south of that US 40 junction. Real quick, wanted to remind you of a new closure that's going to start today. 75th Street is set to close between Bedford and Graham Road as they do some drainage work on that stretch of the new Nickel Plate Trail expansion. So that's set to be closed all the way between now and February 10th. The recommended alternate route would be to utilize 71st Street.
Thank you, Lindsay. This morning, we are learning some new information, unfortunately, about a deadly shooting at a business on the near west side.
This happened Saturday on 10th Street near King Avenue in Hallville. Now, one neighbor tells us they're worried about safety in the community. A small memorial is now growing for the man who died. Police were called just after 4 p.m. Saturday after reports of a person shot. When they found the man who was injured, he was taken to the hospital where he later died. And now the scene, it is close to a lot of homes. So our crews talked to neighbors who are wondering if they're even safe living there.
I mean, if I could find a different house, I would, to be honest, especially with having 5 kids. Just the thought of everything going on, it just makes it questionable if we actually move them in at the right time and in the right location.
So we are keeping an eye out from any more information from the coroner or the police about this death. And as of this morning, police have not announced if there have been any arrests. Well, right now, Indianapolis firefighters are investigating 2 fires at abandoned buildings on Indy's east side.
So the first was at a former Marsh store on East Washington Street. That fire started around 11 o'clock Saturday night. You can see the crews there putting out that fire from above as smoke was coming out of the building, and crews say part of it collapsed just a few minutes after they arrived.
So it did take nearly 4 hours just to get those flames out. Now the cause is still under investigation, but IFD does say neighbors told them they had seen squatters in that building before the fire.
Crews are also investigating a fire at a vacant home on East Michigan Street. We can show you this scene around 2:30 yesterday morning with the flames coming out of the windows of this home. So it only took firefighters about 15 minutes to get this one under control. No one was hurt. We don't know what caused it, but again here, neighbors said they also saw squatters inside before this fire broke out. This morning, a Tipton County deputy is recovering after police say that a drunk driver hit his cruiser. This is what the deputy's SUV looked like after that crash, pretty banged up, and now the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office is investigating. They say that the deputy was headed west when another driver went through a stop sign and hit him. The Sheriff's Office says both people in that second vehicle appeared intoxicated, and both denied being the one behind the wheel. Blood draws were taken from both people and they were let go while the investigation ramps up. The deputy was taken to the hospital for minor injuries and eventually released.
Well, at 6:05 right now, part of the Indianapolis motorcycle community has gathered together to support a 14-year-old boy.
It showed up in a big way after that teen was on camera being allegedly assaulted and threatened by a 45-year-old man for riding his dirt bike down the road. Our Matthew Foltz joins us now with more on how the community showed up in a big way for this teenager. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you both. What started out as just a few bike groups actually turned into over 500 bikers coming out this weekend to support 14-year-old Jordan. Now, those bikers met over at Emporium 40 Flea Market before heading up High School Road across the city's west side. And you might remember back in January, this security camera footage showing Jason Harrell allegedly punching and pushing Jordan in the snow while he was out riding his dirt bike through a neighborhood. Now, in the video, you also could hear Harrell threatening to kill the teen and his family. Harrell was later arrested and charged with battery as well as intimidation. And now the bikers have this message for Jordan.
You've got a community behind you. This community loves you, and you're going to have plenty of outreach. We're going to give you plenty of other places to ride that bike than just on a street. That I can guarantee you.
And the bike ride was peaceful, and police helped with escorts. As far as Harrell, right now, he's still behind bars with no bond. He's due back in court on the 25th. Coming up here at 6:30, you'll hear more from Jordan's mother and her reaction to just seeing this, shocking outpouring of support.
I can imagine her heart just swelled just seeing all these people showing up for her child. Thank you, Matthew. We'll see you soon.
Well, happening later today, the City County Council will hear a proposal about snow removal on city streets. This comes after last month's major winter storm and inches of snow on some local streets that never, ever saw a plow. Well, people across the city shared their frustration as the snow melted and then refroze in some brutally cold temperatures. The proposal would require snow removal services on those local streets.
Yeah, but right now the city operates under a connector street strategy, so that means that it'll only plow designated roads, typically the big ones. Previously, the city operated under a 6 inches rule that meant that after significant snowfall, then those residential streets will be included. We'll be keeping an eye on whether this new proposal makes progress and any changes that may happen as tonight's meeting starts at 7. This morning, Lucas Oil Stadium has a new all-time attendance record.
Was Taylor Swift back? No. 70,340 people went to the WWE Royal Rumble Saturday night, topping Taylor Swift's concert back in November. We talked to some of those fans this weekend who say they traveled from across the country, even some across the world. Some of them are even wrestlers themselves who came to town for the wrestling events, like some of those that were separate, like some in Fountain Square. They say these kinds of events connect people from across the sport.
Seeing everybody that's all pro wrestling fans, and even some of the people that were at the Fountain Square Theater with us are here as well. So seeing them and being able to kick it with them, experience the Royal Rumble all together as a community just feels so great.
In the end, Charlotte Flair won the women's match and Jey Uso won the men's, beating out, you're right, WWE legend John Cena.
Everybody, sometimes you got to have a bad day.
That is
John
true.
Cena,
Even
man,
John,
you know?
yeah. All right, well, 2024 was a record year for tourism in Indianapolis, and Saturday night's Royal Rumble is the first big event of 2025.
And it is not the first or the last time, though, that our city will see the WWE. It is Indy's first time hosting this particular event. But the city did host SummerSlam and WrestleMania decades ago, so we know what we're doing. Next year, the wrestling tourism continues.
City leaders are hoping fans in town this weekend will return for SummerSlam in 2026.
So when the WWE Universe, their fan base, comes in for this event, they know they'll be coming back. So if Indy shows out, the WWE Universe is going to know it and can plan for future events when they come back to the city.
I love that.
And like we mentioned, it was over 70,000 people who attended. Oh, God, that always looks like it hurts.
Smack down, right?
Attended the Royal Rumble.
Well, it's 6:10 this morning. The city of Indianapolis is kicking off Black History Month with an art show. MXP hosted this event showcasing Black artists from right here in central Indiana, but around the world too. The owner says that taking time to appreciate art can really be a healing experience.
Art is therapy, and it's a lot going on in this world, and sometimes you just need to sit down and just enjoy art and express yourself. You know, it's a mental health thing.
Yeah, well, if you missed this weekend show, you can still check it out later this month. There are 2 more art shows planned on the 15th and the 22nd. Good morning, Chuck.
Hey, good morning, Jalea. We're coming up on 6/11, and wow, what a day. This is going to be the most memorable day, I think, of the week, because we're going to go from the 40s now to 64 degrees later on today. Hang in there. It gets really wild with some wintry mix on the way by Wednesday. Your forecast is coming up.
Well, tariff takedown. 3 of the country's largest trade partners will soon face tariffs, striking fears of rising costs for people across the country.
Coming up at 6:15, we're going to break down which industries could see a price spike and how it will impact you, especially at the grocery store and the gas pump.